Hey guys, so I just wanted to explain to y'all what I think the astrological reasoning is as to why Nicki Minaj doesn't have a number one single, why she's had 10 Grammy nominations and hasn't won any of them, and really why she should have more Grammy nominations, more wins, more acclaim. Like, there should be more. Everybody remembers her from our childhoods. We all have a memory, like she's been a staple for a long time now in the music industry, and she is not as critically acclaimed as she should be. She has not won the things that she reasonably should have, and this is why. Well, number one, as you can see, she has a 12th house Mars. So whenever you have Mars in the 12th house, you got somebody where people get mad at them for no reason. They make a lot of hidden enemies, people who are just fucking angry at them for no reason. Mars is in Capricorn. Capricorn represents big business, corporations, industries. So this shows that the people who get mad at her for no reason are people in the industry. The industry gets really upset with her, and then it's tightly conjunct her ascendant. So this could come just from first meeting her. The ascendant is it describes like when somebody first meets you or when you first meet them, that first look, and people are just like, you know what, I'm just totally put off, da, da, da. Like, that's how it's going to be, specifically from people in the industry for her. Mars is at the 28th degree. The 28th degree is a Cancer degree. Cancer represents personal feelings. And so a lot of that anger comes from just random ass personal feelings that make no sense. Why does it make no sense? Because Mars is in the 12th house. That's the 12th house influence. The 12th house is the house of shit that doesn't make any fucking sense. And then beyond that, as you can see here, she has Aqua rising at 0 degree. Whenever you have a sign, planet, or point at 0 degrees, it amplifies the traits of that sign. Aquarius is all about being the odd one out, being different, the one you can't exactly pinpoint or put anywhere. And the worst, not the worst, but the unfavorable side of Aquarius is being ostracized, excluded. And she has been ostracized and excluded. And then notice that the ruler of Aquarius, which is Uranus, which is one of its co-rulers, is in the 10th house. Right here, the MC, this is the 10th house. There's Uranus right there, the little brown one. The 10th house is all about success, achievement, things we've accomplished. And even though she is set apart from her peers as far as her accomplishments and achievements, she has also been completely ostracized as far as wins and nominations and things like that. And the last point that I want to, well, not the last one, the next one is the Virgo moon in the 8th house. So whenever you have any type of Virgo placement period, this person is going to be criticized more than others. Depending on what the Virgo placement is or what house it's in will show how that criticism will play out, if it's going to be favorable or if it's going to be not so favorable. So because she has it in the 8th house, the 8th house is the house of extremes. She is extremely criticized, but she is also extremely critically acclaimed, but not in the way that she could be, right? Notice how the ruler of Virgo is Mercury. So where is Mercury in her chart? It's right here, conjunct Neptune. Because the moon is in Mercury's sign, which is in Virgo, it means that Mercury in her chart has control over her moon because the moon is in Mercury's sign. So Mercury is conjunct Neptune. Neptune represents losses, disillusionment. So it's what we can't see. So when she does have the really, really good critical acclaim, it's like right before we can reach that top, there's still that disillusionment. There's still that, you know what? I really, really liked it, but... So that's what the critics do to her. That's what the public does. It's like, oh, yeah, it's great, but... And then once again, a Virgo moon in the 8th house can be extreme criticism as well, which she has received a lot of, mainly for things that she says. The 27 degree is at a Gemini degree, so it's mainly for things that she has said, like with that Kylie Jenner shit from like 2 years ago. And then lastly, you guys, now pay attention to this one. So we have 2 planets here in the 9th house. We have the MC at 9 degrees. We have also the Sagittarius stellium, right? So the 9th house in Sagittarius are, they represent the same things, right? And so when you have somebody with an emphasis on ninth house Sagittarius energy, and also for those of you that don't know, the MC being at 9 degrees, the ninth degree is a Sagittarius degree. When you have somebody that has an emphasis on these things, when they really put a lot of effort into success and into achievement, they get it. They get the success and they do get the achievement, but oftentimes it's always like right at the tip of the iceberg, right at the tip. But it's like, what am I trying to say here? It's like almost making it all the way up a mountain and then falling down. Like, yes, you made it up really high in the mountain and you saw over the sky, but you didn't reach the summit of the mountain. Now, why is that? And I'll show you why. So in derivative astrology is where we count the houses from each other so that we can see other parts of our lives and the other parts of other people who are in our lives, see how different things play out, right? So just stay with me here. So if I start from the ascendant and if I count 10 houses, 1, 2, 3, and I just go all the way around, I'll make it to the MC, which is the 10th house, right? So by that same logic, if I started with the 10th house and I counted 10 spaces, 1, you start with the actual house, 1, 2, 3, and I just go all the way around, I would end up at the 7th house. So the 7th house is the 10th house of the 10th house. So the 7th house shows the success of your success, but that's not my point. My point that I wanted to show is that if the 12th house in general represents losses or illusions or things that don't quite succeed, disappointments, then that means that the 12th house of the 10th house must be the 9th house, because if I count 12 spaces from the 10 and I go all the way around, I'll end up at the 9th house. So the 9th house is the house of losses and achievement, losses and success, disappointments, things like that, right? Because Sagittarius and the 9th house are both congruent in their meaning. They both have that meaning, losses and achievement, things like that. Or yes, you get the achievement, but you don't always reach the peak. So because of that influence, this shows us somebody who has lots of success and achievement, especially with Jupiter being in the 10th house and her having a Scorpio MC in general means the achievement is extreme. You know, she's a very successful millionaire. But the actual success, the peak, the summit is lost. It's not there. 10 Grammy noms, no wins over a very, very long career. And not only a very long career where she had no competition, where she was the only one doing it, the only female rapper people were talking about. Like, I only know who Lil' Kim and like Trina and Kia, all them other people. Like, I only knew who they were from the internet. Like, as I grew up, I just kind of ran into shit like that. Like, I didn't know nothing about that shit, but everybody knew Nicki. I didn't need the internet to know Nicki. Like, you probably didn't need the internet to know Nicki. Like, everybody knew who she was. But as we can see, as far as when it comes to like awards and the things that should be, they don't reflect that. And that's all part of the reason why. So all of these things come together to make that the reason why. But a lot of times it's specifically the Sagittarius 9th house influence. So now you might be saying, okay, so what the fuck do we have to do to get that, to reach that peak? Like, what's the deal? One thing about it, the 12th house is the house of letting things go, right? That's when you need to just let something go, or when you just kind of do it without much effort, you know, you're just kind of doing it, right? So by that same logic, if the 9th house is 12, if is 12 houses from the 10th, that means that for people with the 9th house or Sagittarius influence, if they want the success and achievement, they have to do so in a way that isn't, you know, like grueling. They have to just kind of do it. Just like, oh, okay, I'll just get in there and do it without any much. I'm not saying don't put effort into it, but you can't go into overdrive. Because see, 10th house energy is about going into overdrive for success. You know, like, oh yeah, I got this. I can do it. Like, I'm climbing that mountain. I got it. But that Sagittarius energy, in order to reach success, it's just like, oh yeah, you know, I'll get there eventually. Yeah, all right then. All right, I did a pretty good job. Okay. It's very lax. So when a person with this influence continues to remain lax, they hit that major success. There's one songwriter I know, one of her songs, one of her most popular songs, she told me, she said, like, She said, I just did that shit. Like, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, here it is, I put in effort, but it was like, oh, she didn't like, yeah, I'm working on this song. Da, da, da. And she has the Sagittarius influence in her chart, right? And that was one of her like most craziest popular songs. But then on the flip side, when she does try really hard and when she's like really trying to put all her mental focus on it, that's when she struggles or when it doesn't succeed the way she thinks it does. So, and Nicki has a Capricorn Mars, which of course is going to put her into overdrive. And it has paid off. It just hasn't brought her to the top. She will actually have to relax herself a little bit, in my opinion, if she wants to get that big critical acclaim, that big achievement. It really doesn't even, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't matter to her at this point because, she's already mega successful without all the extra stuff that we are mentioning here. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading and thank you for watching.